On today's episode of Survival Dispatch Reviews, what the? Babe, I'm trying to get set up to do this review on the Energy Power Station.
I know. I'm here to get my e-bike charged up. Plug it in.
Come on now. And we're back. Today we're having a look at the Energy Flex 1500. This console can be attached to up to 5 batteries vertically, and they're 1,000 watt hours each, up to 96,000 watt hour batteries horizontally. Truly the most flexible system that we've ever seen, but you can buy it in bite-sized chunks. So the console itself has 1,500 watts of continuous AC output power with surges up to 3,000 watts. So it's kind of standard. Take the normal wattage that's pure sine wave and blast it to about double for a matter of seconds. However, we got a surprise to show you with this unit as we get deeper into this review. Attaching the Flex console to the Flex battery couldn't be easier. It's literally just a matter of setting it on top of the battery. On each side, there's a lock. We push those in place. Bam, we've got power. Everything's assembled just like that. This unit exceeds multiple military standards for EMP. So that's one of the biggest things that we were excited about to get our hands on this device. So they partnered up with a company called EMP Shield. They make devices that go from solar panels to the power station to your devices. It has 90,000 volts per meter of EMP protection. So instead of stuffing everything into a Faraday bag waiting for an EMP, what you can do with the Flex and the solar panels and the EMP protection is have them all assembled together, and it'll be protected from the EMP. You can go a step further. Again, this is a very modular system. You can bolt a UPS unit on this to turn into a uninterruptible power supply for plugging electronics in, like your laptop, your desktop, other devices, and they're also protected from the EMP. So this is an amazing solution, and we're going to get the adapter set up and show you what they look like in just a second. This device here from EMP Shield, from Energy, connects to the charging port on the side of the power station, back to your solar panels. This second device from EMP Shield plugs into the AC port on the front of the power station and allows you to plug additional devices into this. Again, this gives you end-to-end EMP protection from the solar panel to the console to the batteries to everything that's plugged in to the console receiving power from it. That's a major advancement when it comes to EMP protection. The console itself has multiple ports. This is the input port on the side, whether it's AC charging or solar charging. We've got two 12-volt car ports. We've got two 12-volt barrel ports, two USB-A's, two USB-C's, and 6 AC ports across the front. And again, because this is a modular system where we can add more batteries, there's a port on the side right here where we can plug an additional 12-volt barrel port in per battery to speed up the entire charging process. Another innovation that we'd like to point out on the Energy Flex is this little card right here. So when you get the console, there's a metal plate here. It's your choice whether or not you want to remove the plate and put this Wi-Fi/Bluetooth adapter onto the unit. When you do so, then you can connect your phone by Bluetooth. You can configure it from Wi-Fi, and you can use the smartphone app, which is very clean, very utilitarian, which is actually a plus in our books. The apps that are overly complex typically have the most bugs in our experience. In this case, we just want a nice clean interface from our phones back to the device. However, respecting the fact that many people do not want anything extra on the network that does not need to be on the network, you don't have to hook up this Wi-Fi card/Bluetooth adapter at all. You can leave the metal plate on, and it's completely isolated from the network. The most common question we get asked when it comes to power stations is, what can it run? If you've watched some of our older videos, you probably noticed that we pulled out a bunch of household items and plugged them into a bunch of different power stations to see just how much they can handle. However, in order to simplify the process and make the video a little bit shorter, we just resort now to an 1875 watt hair dryer for all power stations in the mid-range. So 1500 watts of continuous AC power on down. So we have this hairdryer set at its maximum temperature. I'm fixing to turn on its maximum fan speed. We've already run this experiment, so we know what happens. So you may not be able to see the panel on this. However, I can tell you that this hairdryer with this power station, it runs a continuous 1760, 1780 continuous AC output trying to power this, or actually powering this, I should say. That by far is the biggest percentage of overperformance that we have seen from any power station. I mean, we are just completely blown away at how advanced and how functional this device is. With regards to charging the Flex from solar panels, and again, this is the off-grid Trek 220 watt solar blanket, there is another module that you can bolt onto these consoles if you so desire, called an MPPT supercharger. And what that allows you to do is string a whole bunch of solar panels together. They could be in series, they could be in parallel, doesn't matter. Allows you to max out the input from solar panels to the console, which will fully charge the 1000 watt hour battery inside of 90 minutes, potentially less depending on your sun exposure. We're in the strong Florida afternoon sunlight, and we're getting a pretty good charge off of the solar blanket right now. It's rated 220 watts. We're pulling over half of that right now, even though we're not on the proper angle to the sun. And we've shown in some other videos how just a minor change in declination can make an absolutely massive difference in how much power you get from the solar panels. And you can check that with smartphone apps. You can check the display on the front. I want to mention something that happened to us recently, and how important it is to match up your solar panels to your power station. Now, we have solar panels from ENERGY. They're in a different location, and they're going to be part of our review on the Kodiak X2. So that's why we hooked up this off-grid Trek unit today. However, we accidentally hooked up a solar panel that was a maximum of 30 volts to a power station that had a minimum of 60 volts. And it backfed electricity through the connection into the solar panel, and it burst into flames. So make sure that when you're matching solar panels to a power station, you're within the parameters, within that range of minimum, maximum that's specified by the manufacturer of the power station. I want to mention one more thing, which you've heard us say before, but this is worth repeating. The awesome thing when it comes to scalable solutions like this is it's $1,450 for this base unit with a 1000 watt battery on it. If you buy a solar panel with it, even a cheap one under $100, you can claim the 30% federal sales tax credit. Then when you've saved up a little bit more money and you buy another battery or two, they're only $990, and buy another small solar panel with it, and you get to claim the 30% again. So you can save a ton on what your investment is in this type of equipment, so that you're prepared for grid down situations by pairing a small solar panel with each module as you expand it. Could be the MPPT supercharger, could be the UPS module, could be additional batteries, could be additional consoles, because you're daisy chaining them horizontally together. Regardless of how you do it, instead of spending $20,000 on a 13,000 watt hour Tesla Powerwall, in this case, it's kind of like an elephant, kind of like eating an elephant, one bite at a time as your budget can afford it. Makes this, one of the absolute front runners as far as survival dispatch is concerned for power stations and solar charging setups. With regards to the construction of the ENERGY Flex, I want to point out these are solid metal devices. The battery cases, the console case, these things are extreme heavy duty. And it's worth mentioning that ENERGY have won a couple very large Department of Defense contracts because their devices are so rugged and so well constructed. Every other device that we've seen is manufactured from plastic. Now, some of them, the plastic's a lot better than others. Some of them, name shall remain unnamed, are pretty flimsy plastic. The handles are flimsy, the construction's flimsy. I had one fall off a desk, it shattered the corner. Not gonna happen with these ENERGY units. And it doesn't matter if it's the Flex or their Kodiak X2. Now, I will say one thing. This unit came with these L-shaped rubber protectors that went over these feet to act as an insulator. And we lost 2 of them from the time that we unpackaged it to the time we were getting ready to do the review. I found them and thought it was just trash from the shipping and threw them away, and now it's in the landfill. So you want to make sure that you keep in mind that these removable rubber feet, which you don't see here because I accidentally threw them out, that you keep those to provide some level of insulation when you set it down. Otherwise, you can do what we do with other devices. When we took the Vietnam era ammo can, turned it into a Faraday cage, you'll note that we set it on a 1/2-inch piece of black rubber, so it gave it some insulation. The EMP couldn't ground itself through that. In conclusion, I'd like to add that Energy is a Idaho-based company. They have done all of the design work for their power stations and components. They have boots on the ground overseas where these are manufactured. So while it is not a 100% made in America product, it is the closest thing to an American-made power station that we've been able to find. And I do believe that that's part of the reason that the DoD awarded them a couple very significant contracts. Of course, it also has to do with the fact that it's extremely rugged, has to do with the fact that there's EMP protection available that exceeds the military standards, has to do with a great price point, the flexibility. You can add additional batteries, you can add additional components, you can add additional solar panels. The name Flex couldn't be more accurate in the case of this power station. So again, you can get what you're looking at right here for $1,450 on energytech.com. We'll put a link down below. We're also going to add a bunch of links to stuff like PDFs and whatnot that show you the military standards that this device exceeds. And that's about it for the Energy Flex. I mean, we could sit here and talk about it all day because it's such an impressive device. But check out energytech.com if you want to learn more. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Helps us with the algorithm, and we appreciate you following Survival Dispatch Reviews.